Welcome to Honestly Speaking. My name is honestly Trina and I'm your host. Today with me, I have a musical legend, my friend and sister queen, Lisa Maffia. She's the first lady of Soul Solid. She's a serial entrepreneur and she's paved the way for multiple artists in the UK.
Thank you for having me. I can't believe I've been watching this all the time and thinking, when is my turn? When is my turn on that couch? And it's looking, wow, Trina, wow. I'm wowed. Well done.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And to be honest, it took so long because I felt like I couldn't, not that I couldn't ask because I know you'd do anything.
Yeah.
But it just kind of felt like, oh my God, I'm going to ask Lisa. I don't have enough subscribers. It's too much.
What?
So,
girl, listen, this is one thing that you have to remember. You're on your own journey. And this journey is good for us as musicians. Don't get it twisted. Good footage is good for the artist as much as it's good for you. So don't think anyone's above you, girl. You are up here with us with what you're displaying. So congratulations and well done.
So for those of you that don't know, Lisa's Mafia Rum is actually the sponsor to Honestly Speaking. So if you haven't already, please do go out and get Mafia Rum. Now, I don't drink, but I use this in my rum cakes because I'm also the owner of Miss Kitty's Cakes. So if you ever order any rum cakes from me, you will be sampling the Mafia Rum in there, also in the buttercream of the cakes as well. So do go out and get Mafia Rum, spiced rum, in fact. It's very potent, I just want to let you know.
Yeah, be careful with that.
I get drunk off the aroma.
Of the fumes.
Yeah. So, Lisa, we've known each other for a long time.
Yes. I'm ashamed to say how many years it is because they all know our ages. No, you're joking.
We're out here.
Girl, it's 30 years plus, 35 years plus.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
It could even be more than that.
I think it is. I was cringing at the thought, but I think it actually is. Like, actually, it might be knocking a bit more. 40 years now. Jeez.
A couple decades, Lisa.
It is indeed.
So, you're originally from South London.
Brixton.
Brixton.
Yes.
How was it growing up in Brixton?
I always say this, and I say it time and time again because it's the absolute truth. It's like, Brixton is the university of life. It's the one place that you can convey education of the streets, of resilience, of strength, of determination, of just being versatile, being a chameleon, how to adapt. Because every single part of growing up in Brixton has taught me something that I use today, and no textbook could convey that, you know? And it's, I think if I didn't grow up in South London, I wouldn't be able to be the businesswoman I am, the mother I am, the friend I am, at all. Because it's just taught me so much. From just being resilient alone, it's survival.
The cold streets.
Yeah, it's survival in the concrete jungle. It truly is. But it shaped me, and I'm proud of where I come from because it's. I've really built good friendships there, and they, like yourself, you've been my longest friend, and I think that's come from being together in what some people would call the slums, going through a rocky childhood and learning about yourself on that journey. So I give thanks really every day.
Me
I want
too.
to go back.
No,
I wouldn't go back there. I wouldn't live there, but I love passing through. It's got the same feeling, even though Brixton. Have you been to Brixton?
it's gentrified.
Honey, there is no real Brixton left.
No,
There's
it's
a tiny bit of the market and a little bit of the culture left. But it has that same nostalgia for me because every road I walk in Brixton, I'm like, I remember what happened here. Oh my God, it brings back so much memories. You know?
It does. So you were raised in a single parent household.
Yes.
Shout out mummy.
Mummy.
Shirley. With your sister, Kelly. How was it? What was the dynamics like in your home life?
It's weird because I've only started to realise exactly what type of childhood I had. It wasn't a bad one. It wasn't. My mum done her best by us, but she had her own way, you know? She had her own sort of outlook on lives, her own morals. She was the black sheep of my Italian descent family. She was the one that went out with the black guys. So that was already a, what are you doing? But my grandmother loved us because we were the only grandchildren that lived right opposite her.
Yeah.
I lived
closer.
Yes, you lived like next door to Daddy, basically. You was on Minute Road with with my nonna, and I was on Loughborough Estate, and literally across the zebra crossing. And so we spent most Saturdays with my nan. We went shopping with her every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. We was down the shops with her, down Tesco's with the what they called the shopping trolley.
Yeah.
So we really had a tight bond. But my mum, my nana, and my great grandmother both had that tendency to be a little bit racist. Where you're like, now you're looking back, you're like, really, Dad? She's like, don't hang around with them black kids, they're bad.
It's like,
now I'm thinking, hold on a minute. Wait, I was black. Wait. And then my great grandmother used to do this to me, and it's mad. She used to do this on my knees.
No, she didn't.
Because she used to think our knees were dirty because we're black. Like, we've got darker skin, haven't we? Elbows, we've got darker skin. She used to rub it. But it wasn't malicious. It was just that thing. Like, they never really accepted we are actually black, you know? So now I look back, it's like, was I okay in this family? I was loved, extremely loved. And as I said, my mum had these weird ways that I probably wouldn't do the same, that I don't judge her for, but it's just not the way I would be now. And growing up was good, but my mum got a boyfriend when I was 11, and it changed the dynamics. It was just me, my mum, and my sister. And me and my mum and my sister had a great time. We done most things together. And my mum, being the shy girl that she was, I've realised that she kind of pushed us to do lots of things, like just down to simple things like ordering the Chinese on the Thursday night. We always had Chinese
from
on
Five
Thursday
Ways
night.
or the one up the top by the...
Five Ways, girl. Round the back.
Yeah.
Round the back.
Loughborough
the scary
Junction.
bit. Then
Yeah.
you run
the
down
blue.
there quick, pick it up and run
Get
back.
out.
Yeah. That one. And she used to get us to order it. And now I look back and now realise that she was too shy to do it. So she'd be like, no, you do it. You go on, you do it. And she used to tell us what we would get and we would get it. But that gave us a little bit of like confidence. I guess it made us grow more confident. So there were things, little things like that my mum used to do. But my mum's boyfriend came in and it changed the dynamics. My sister absolutely hated him from the start. I was quite in need for a father figure. So I gravitated to him. And then it all changed when I got to 13 because he kind of got this thing in him that he could tell us as a father would. And we were determined by then, like, you're not my dad. And we saw that he was mistreating my mum at points. So I started to hate him and went against him. And my mum was in an abusive relationship, basically. So she'll tell you now that he was just awful, and it changed a lot of the dynamics of how it was between me, my sister, and my mum. And my mum stopped doing as much with us because he had a problem with everything that was going on. So, and that was down to insecurity and jealousy. So I think childhood just changed from 13 up. It also changed really, a lot for me personally. I think my sister, my mum and her boyfriend was okay.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like a little bit of the outcast in my mum's house because as I got a little bit older, my sister was 15 when she had her baby. And we was in a 2-bed house.
Yeah.
And me and my sister shared a room. And opposite my bed was my sister, her boyfriend, and her baby. And I was in my bed. And then next door was my mum and her boyfriend. So I felt like that.
The outsider.
I didn't feel like I had a space in the house. I felt like I was just, a spare part. And so unwanted, so unneeded. And
you're only 14 at this time.
And I was only just coming 14. My sister was just coming 16 when she had the baby. And then I was just coming 15. And I could not wait to get out that house, Trina. I could not wait to go. And it was upsetting for me because I also had the trauma of my sister's dad being around and not my dad. So again, and I got told very early on that that wasn't my dad and it was my sister's dad and that we was only half sisters and that was, I felt like, again, I was this extra person in this house that I didn't belong. And then I guess once Bernard came and my sister's child came, I could not wait to get out, and I was turning 15, and I just stayed out more and more and more. And in my head, I was like, okay, so how do I get a house before I'm 18? How do I start my own life, my own family? Oh yeah, that's what you do. You have a baby. So I was desperate to have a kid.
Seriously?
I was desperate because I knew I would have my own someone to love. I would have my own life to lead, and I wouldn't have to rely on what I felt like from a family that didn't want me.
Yeah.
So I ended up in the hands of a very manipulative, wicked man, and had the most wonderful child. And within 8 months of having her, I realized that the situation. Yeah, go on.
I remember that. I actually, I don't know if I should share.
Yeah.
But I remember when you were breastfeeding.
Yeah.
It's such a thing, because I was like, I had never known anyone that was pregnant or like that had gone through that motherly change, and I was just like looking at you like, oh my God, like this is like, you're a big person.
I'm a big woman now.
You're actually a big woman.
I did feel like it
I don't know if are we allowed to be friends anymore.
She's too old. She's too old for me.
She's actually a mum. Like she's a mum.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, wow, this is
she's different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. I felt like I lost my friend.
I was still there, trust me, trapped in a big woman's lifestyle. That's all that was going on. I was that little girl. So by the time I got pregnant, had my own baby, I was out of my mum's just before I was 18 into my very own apartment. And I was ready for it. I was so ready for it. I was ready with a baby in tow and thinking, what the F do I do now? Like, what do I do? So that takes you to my adult kind of first, I guess, my first try at adulthood.
So I'm going to rewind us back a bit, because like we did a lot of personal conversation there. But what was education like for you? Like, what was school life like for you? And what were some of your goals and aspirations from an academic side of things?
Honestly, Trina, I love saying that. I love saying it.
Honestly speaking.
Honestly, I did not have none. I had none. The only thing I ever desired to be at 15 was just making it through, really, but to be a photographer. And I left school at 15 because I was bullied. I was bullied in primary school. I got really tough once I got into secondary school.
You left me.
I did.
In Charles Edward Brooke.
I did leave you.
You left me.
I
Abandonment
did.
issues here.
I'm sorry.
Yes, you
I'm really sorry. I'll pay for your counselling.
Yes, please do.
But I honestly, I left out of secondary school, Charles Edward Brooke, and went to join my sister in Nord Girls. And I got there and I just thought, I'm not having it. Like, you know, when you think, I am not having it. Whoever wants it, I'm giving it. And there were girls bigger and tougher than me, and I had that constant challenge. And I don't know if any other mixed race girls out there could vouch for me, but it was tough being light skinned, because you either got told you weren't black enough or you weren't white enough. And you was in that middle ground, and you didn't know, sometimes at some points you didn't know which side you wanted to vouch for, what you want to rep for. And that was tough, because I say this all the time, my mum says it all the time, like, it's like I grew up in a black household and my sister grew up in a white household. My sister is Cockney, like she'll be like, yeah, you're right, babes. Yeah, Lace, where are you? Are you coming over, babes? My old man, she's proper Cockney. Where I was more into bashment, I was more gravitating to my culture of my black roots. I was into, church and all the rest of it. It was all black driven, where my sister was very white driven, worked in a pub. I worked in a newsagent's with some black guy, it was like that.
Completely polar opposite.
Completely polar opposite. So growing up and coming out of primary school being bullied, into secondary school, into Charles Edward Brooke, where all of the girls were, it was just nothing but trouble. So I went off and I went down to Nord Girls and got in there, and I was just reckless. I was just crazy, to be honest. And just followed around with the wrong group. I had a great time. I'm not gonna lie. I had fun. It didn't damage me in any way.
See, I wasn't privy to all of this. So when I joined Charles Brooke, I felt safe because you was there.
Yeah.
And then also there was Debbie Madigan. Do you remember
Yeah,
Debbie Madigan?
I do. That was my best friend in primary school. Hi,
Madigan.
Debs.
Yeah. I remember going to Charles Brooke because Nanny didn't want me to go to a mixed school because I was always fighting in primary school.
That was a thing back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Your mum said, but that made girls worse.
What's the worst?
Listen, putting girls in girls' school made it worse because these girls, and it wasn't me, and I swear on my life, I wasn't man hungry at that age. I was too mager and too bony to even be fancied, trust me.
Apart from the yardie man down the road.
Yeah, well then, there was them, but that's just, But honestly, that is the wrong mistake. That's the biggest mistake you could do. Girls are more hungry for man.
Honestly. Michael Ramsey, Tennyson.
Yeah, all congregating. How did we know they were coming though? We had no phones. I don't know. That's what I want to know. How did we know? It's like we smelt them coming in. Michael Ramsey's here. Yeah. Everybody fix yourself.
You're being the science block and you just see them walking through the schoolyards, and then they're in the corridors and no one can do nothing about it. Like the school keeper just letting them walk through. But yeah, I felt really safe knowing that you was there because I didn't know anyone that was in Charles Brooke. I didn't even know the school existed.
Really?
Yeah, like
okay.
I was
that
trying
like the top school back then.
I was trying to go Dunraven and Lillian Bailey's. I was trying to go to the bad school. Like,
oh dear.
You know, but Nanny was like, no, you're not going. Yeah. You're not going there because I was having fights in St. John's.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, I had a fight with.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I had
a
few.
Yeah,
I had a few fights.
Nanny was
like, girls' school for you. But I remember going into school and someone tried to bully me, actually, funnily enough. I won't call you out. You know who you are.
I really want to call her name.
And I've seen her since, like, you see me.
I see you. You see me.
But I remember when it happened because I had this this pink Alf bag. Do you remember Alf from Sky One? And in the lunchtime lineup, she actually took my bag because everyone had the Benetton bag.
That's right. I had that.
The Benetton bag. My nanny got me because I was still young. I was innocent kid, full skirt and blazer. And she took my rucksack off my back and she like threw my books down, freshly wrapped. Do you remember when you used to wrap the books freshly wrapped?
Heartbreaking.
And she
imagine how heartbreaking that is for your age back then, isn't it?
Honestly, and then Lisa and Debbie came along.
Come and save you.
And it was like, you're not doing that.
What we saying now?
Yeah, and now I'm the big girl in school.
Yeah.
Because I know the older girls.
But that's just it though. I had no one to back me. I didn't have that big sister.
Yeah.
Until maybe Verona and Lenitz, they kind of like backed me, but then they left way before us because they were older than us, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that part. And then I just didn't have any goals. I didn't have, all it was is survival. And then I got to Nord Girls and right at the end, I got bullied a little bit and they brought their big sisters down there, had knives and all that lot. And I just thought, you know what? My mum said that's enough. So I went to college and I'd done my GCSEs and I'd done art and design and photography. And in that, I when I left there, I just said, right, I'm going to do photography. And then got to the course for college. It was £3,000. And I was like, okay, how am I supposed to pay for that?
3,000.
How? £3,000. So, and that was for all the equipment and stuff.
Right.
So you could apply for a grant and all these different things, but they want to see you got good GCSEs. But I left with none, so I had to do them in college. So I got half of my GCSEs, and it was all a big mess. And I just thought, right, that's it, time to graft. And I think that was maybe the very first time that I knew the concept of hustling and just doing what you got to do and getting out there. So I took a job in Iceland when I was pregnant, and then I had the baby, and then I went into Next Retailers, and at the same time I was doing college, and then I was going down the escalators in Brixton for the tube to go over to West End where I was working, and there was a guy out there handing out flyers for a singing school, and it wasn't that I ever wanted to be a pop star or anything. I kind of just loved music. Growing up, we had tape decks, and my mum used to have like hundreds and hundreds of tapes and records and LPs and stuff, and I used to as kids, we used to record ourselves and play it back for my mum. And we used to me and my sister are trained in Latin ballroom and tap, and we used to do different showcases for my mum, and also to watch hundreds and hundreds of hours of showcases, like, watch me again, mum, watch this, you know, get her to do it again. And she's like, yeah, I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching for hours, you know. And yeah, I just didn't have any goal. I just was following. By then I just said, right, I've got to hustle, but I also was just following passions. And singing school kind of led me, before I knew it, that to become a singer. And it just gave me confidence. I didn't really take it on as to learn how to sing. It was just confidence to be out there in front of people. And I realized that a couple of years later I ended up being a singer. So maybe it was God guiding me on the right path, and without me even knowing. So yeah. The aspiration was to just hustle, do what I gotta do.
So you wanted to be a nurse at a time though?
Yes, I started a nursing degree 3 times over. I'm halfway there. I would have to start again, because with nursing, it updates so many. It updates every 5 to 6 years. So I'd have to start again. But I do have that as my
fallback
future career. Yeah, I'd love to. My mum, unfortunately, has had cancer for 13 years. And the first year I sat in the chemo ward in Guy's, not to put them down, but I just sat there disgusted, like no personality from the nurses, no warmth, no care. Just everybody's a hospital number, NHS number. You sit, you have your medication and you leave, and they sit there for hours sometimes. I watched my mum sit there for 9 hours sometimes on different drips getting her chemo treatment, and it was just heartbreaking. And in the end, I used to go up there and I used to be like, jazz hands, like, good morning everybody, you know, who wants a drink, who's gonna get more sandwiches, I'm taking the tuna, and just giving that sort of life in there. And when I used to leave, I used to feel like really empowered, like I made everyone happy. Everyone's going home from their chemo treatment just a little bit happier today. Hopefully that makes someone else survive and get through, as my mum has, because she has such a positive mental attitude against chemo and cancer. And with us, she says, no doctor, no drug can help me, only God can choose. And I think that positive outlook on it is really giving her strength. And she's been told from 13 years ago, the first time she was diagnosed, she was told she would have 3 to 6 months, and she came through 2 years later, 4 years later the first time, and it creeped back in. My mum has terminal cancer and is still here and is still well and is still fighting and still positive, and uplifting, So I do believe that that's her positive attitude and our positive attitude as a family. So that's why I've always thought, well, when I'm done with music, what would I want to do when I'm old and grey and can't walk no more? I'd love to set up a little, maybe end of life clinic.
Palliative care.
Yeah, end of life, or palliative, or even the actual treatment side. Because I think it's imperative that you stay very positive through such negativity,
How did it feel when you first heard that mummy was diagnosed?
Oh my goodness, it's such a shock. I remember at the time it was a bit of a quiet season actually with music for the first time in many years. And it does happen in music, it goes up and down. And survival has only come probably because I've had my own businesses within the music industry that's kept me going. But at the time, I started a company called House of Mafia, which is something completely different now. But back then, I started a company called House of Mafia, and it was an online shop for upcoming brands, clothing brands, to showcase their. I guess it was like before ASOS and them sort of thing. Well, probably ASOS was there, but we didn't know about it. But it was like a concession store for upcoming brands. And I started that, and I started dressing people for like red carpets. I had Kanye King and Talisa and lots of different musicians, and that for the Mobo's red carpet, for film sets, for all sorts. And then my mum was diagnosed, and I was in the mix of doing like some really cool stuff with the brand. It was really growing, and I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't face it. Mum's diagnosis has just shut me off. I actually don't know. I think it's like anybody would when you hear cancer, you think death. You don't think anything else but death. And you don't see much way out of it. And I think the most major part of it is that you know you can't do nothing about it. You can't take it away. You can't make it better. And as much as I'm saying we're positive now, back then I used to be crying my eyes out daily and every day. It just could not move. I was actually frozen by it. So I closed down my company. I couldn't do it no more. I left music. And for the first year of taking my mum through treatment, I'd done nothing but go to the hospital every single day with her. So yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. And I'm not so emotional now. I think this is the first time I've actually spoke about mum's cancer and not cried my eyes out because I'm so sure that mum will live a full life. She isn't in the best place now. She isn't in the best place. She really isn't. She's in quite a lot of pain. The treatment can do really, really bad things to your body, you know, it wipes you out. That makes me feel a little bit, yeah, I think she's just a strong person, and it's positivity that gets you through that. It keeps you going, you know, and I have proof of it now because she keeps going. Sorry.
It's okay.
Whew.
Mummy's really strong though.
Yes.
She's always been a very resilient person, and I feel like just watching you, I feel like you've adapted some of those resilient traits from Mummy. She's absolutely resilient. I look at her and I just think she's so beautiful still. Like she's still beautiful,
Yeah,
you know?
she is. She's got her look still, man.
Yeah. Carries herself in such a good way. Yeah.
Woosah.
Yeah, we woosah. So I wasn't going to go into that now, but because we kind of landed there, do we need tissue?
No, I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Good. So let's backpedal a bit. So we've had Chelsea. Love to Chelsea.
Yes.
We love Chelsea.
My little queen.
We do love. Chelsea is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Like at your birthday, I was looking at her like, oh, she's so beautiful. Like she's just beautiful.
How'd she do that?
Yeah. So you've had Chelsea. You're a new mum, teen mum, and you're just trying to figure it out. You finally got your own place. The house was challenging. Yeah. And how does this single mum survive and break into the music industry?
So I give thanks to Jason Phillips, G-Man. He is the most wonderful man that you could ever have wished for at a time of need like that. He was a childhood friend. I was 13 years old when I first met him. And I guess we didn't even know we liked each other. No, I don't think we liked each other. Or maybe I'm telling you something now, as much as I had a baby, I was what they call frigid. Like, I was scared of man. Like, I was scared. I literally was petrified of, and didn't ever think that, you know, the need of relationship and things like that. It's just not in my thought process. It wasn't what, I was just a hustler.
We're kind of raised different though, weren't we? We weren't on the hunt.
I just was not interested in having a boyfriend and all that side of things.
And your mum was kind of like my nanny.
Yeah, no one was allowed in our house. No one was allowed to stay over. I think that's probably why it was such a shock to my sister when my sister had her baby and baby father there. It was like, this is not,
because your mum used to chase down people that tried to talk to you, like my nanny.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't allowed, you know? So for me, when I met Jason was everything you would need in a real father figure for your child. He was there to support and dream and grow and give life to your life. He was there to serve as her husband. And he was just, he's a Jamaican. He's from Jamaica.
They've got a beautiful trait.
Yeah. His mindset is, we got to make a home. We got to make life. We got to, you know what I mean? We got to secure ourselves. So meeting him was great. Like, Chelsea ended up calling him dad because he was around from her. She was 18 months. And she we was integrated straight into his family, and he was integrated straight into mine. But he was experiencing things, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, which I doubt he would. Is that he didn't really know family life because he was left in Jamaica until he was quite big, and then brought over once his mum had settled here. And when he got here, obviously he had that detachment from his mum, and I was always told by his mum that we made him different. We made him more family orientated. We made him more lovable and soft. He was very cold and stern and had this sort of cold fight against the world, you know, and we gave him that soft edge again and taught him how to love. So it was wonderful to have him there. The only thing is that we didn't end up working out, and in that space, he unfortunately got in quite bad trouble and went to prison, and we went our separate ways, you know.
So Jason, G-Man's part of So Solid.
Yes, he is.
He's the gentleman that put together
Introduced
21,
me. That's
21
right.
seconds, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, you're well clued up. Of course you are. Come on, you've been around for years.
Yeah.
But he was the one that said to Mega, I was always singing around the house unconsciously, always into music more than I realised. And as I said, never wanted to ever be a pop star per se. And I just loved music. I just loved music. And I must have been singing a lot and singing along and maybe getting involved. And they asked me to do Oh No. And
oh no, that's the
that's
word.
right. It's just the little things,
the sentimental things in life.
I ended up doing that. And that ended up being our first track to be signed, to be recognised, to be known as the So Solid crew and as Lisa Maffia. And that's how I ended up there. Just because G must have picked up on, she can do it, you know? I had this tiny little squeaky angelic voice that was perfect for that track. And that was my very first step into music, unknowingly that it was going to lead to what it did.
So was that the first track that
was
you
the
recorded?
Very first track I ever recorded,
wow.
ever. And the last for some years as well, because the other tracks I was featuring on were for other people's albums and stuff, and that came after Oh No. So Oh No was my very first track ever, and my very first time in studio behind a microphone with cans on, with recording, being told to stop, start, layering ad-libs. The heck is that? Do you know what I mean? All right, I knew I was singing along to this other part of the song, but I didn't know it was called ad-libs. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And tracking your voice. Why can I hear myself? That's weird.
You're like,
you know, oh, what is that? Yeah. You know, so yeah, it was all really new to me. So I had to truly learn to become a musician, and it took me many years, many years.
So how did that feel? Like, did you think, oh yeah, this song's gonna make it, or is it like, I've just done that, I'm going home now, that's it,
well,
it's not gonna go anywhere?
I did it and didn't think anything about it. And the boys were MCing and DJing out in sound systems and stuff, and they were out there doing their thing anyway. I wasn't taken along to them parts because I was nothing to do with music. I had a baby.
Did the hook. You just did the hook.
I just did a track because I just sung something because you told me to, and I did it, and that was it. But meanwhile, this track was building and building and building. I didn't know because I wasn't in the rave. I had a baby and I was at home, and the odd rave I went here and there was after the record started getting this buzz, and they started telling me I'm going to have to come and perform. I said, perform? Hell no. Oh, hell to the no. My very first performance, I remember it so vividly because it was at, it was traumatizing, but it was at Scala. And
oh my gosh, King's Cross.
Yes. And we got in there and Romeo was with me, obviously, because it was Oh No.
Yeah.
And it was just me and Rome's. And it was the very first time anybody had announced me onto stage. So I was like this, shaking like a leaf in the back, like, oh my days, I don't know if I can do it. I literally feel sick. And the man on the mic, I didn't need to know who that was so I could go cuss them out. But they said, yo, this is the biggest track on the scene right now. This is not to be played with. If you don't know, you better get to know. It's Oh No. It's Romeo and Lisa Marie. I said, oh, hell
Not
to
Lisa
the
Marie.
no.
Not Lisa
Hell no.
Marie.
So the first thing I go out there and say is, by the way, guys, my name is Lisa Maffia, not Lisa Marie. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. And we've got one mic. So he's like, oh no, it's just a little, oh no, she was sharing this mic like this. It was atrocious. It was the worst feeling ever. It put me off. It really put me off. But I've realized now that it wasn't me. It was what I thought I was, because I was told growing up that I was shy, and I was told repeatedly, "Oh, leave her alone. She's shy. Don't worry. You don't have to do it if you feel shy. Don't worry." You know, and that was when I was quite small, and my sister was more like, you know, she was out there. Yeah, I want a picture. Cheese, like posing and that, and I'd be like, not afraid to smile with my big gaps in my teeth, and you know, the frizzy hair, and just being the little sister, I guess. And then as I grew up, I got told I was like the stronger one, so I was just adapting to what I was always told. So by the time I got into music, I was like, who the fuck am I? Like, I don't even know who I am. Like, who am I? And I thought I was shy, Trina. I honestly thought I was shy. So going out there was like, I can't do this. I'm shy. But I wasn't. I never was. I'm not now, because I've learned to be who I actually am, not who they tell you are, you know? And that took some years to get over.
Do you remember where you were the first time you heard your song on the radio?
Oh No or 21. Oh No. It was Choice FM, I think. In fact, no, it's probably Supreme and Delight FM.
Yeah.
Because that was our own pirate station.
Yeah.
So it's probably there. So it would have been with my friends, probably with everybody back in the day.
So Oh No is now building momentum.
Well established, yeah.
Stuff is going on. You're starting to go out and do gigs.
No, actually no.
Oh.
For the first... Until 21 Seconds was actually out there, I think I've probably done a handful of gigs. But yeah, because I wasn't included, really. They used to just run and do it, and I was sort of... I guess there was no money in it when you think about it. The boys were probably getting paid £300 between them. So, yeah, there was no room for Lisa's extra money. Like, leave that bitch at home.
Just to sing the hook. We better just
the hook. Don't worry, we can sing that for you.
Put the track on. The crowd will
Press
sing
play.
the hook.
They will sing it for her. We don't need to pay her. Yeah, I got left at home, mate. Trust me.
So, 21 Seconds.
Yes.
Iconic.
Yes.
UK song. My kids know the song.
Do they?
Yes.
I love that.
You should have asked Leah today. You should have asked her. She'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to start doing all of that. Anyway, so 21 Seconds.
Yeah.
Simps produced the song.
Yes.
G's now said everyone's got 21 seconds to pass the mic. Got 21 seconds to say what you got to say. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Trina.
So, okay. So he's told you guys to do that.
Yeah.
You've gone off and you've made your thing. What are you thinking is going to happen with this icon? Well, it's not iconic. It's just you're just wherever you are. You've just recorded it.
Yeah.
What did you think at the time when he said, "Yeah, you got 21 seconds"?
I'm gonna be brutally honest right now. I hated the track.
You hated the track,
girl. I could not dance to that. What did it say? How do you move? I don't know how to dance to this.
You weren't doing that. You weren't doing
that. No, not to that one. Oh, okay. It was just like I didn't hate it, but I just didn't get it. I didn't get how it was gonna be, and it was so different. But that's why I wasn't a music creative. I was a creative, but I was creative on a journey to become a musician. Yeah. So I didn't understand that being this fresh is gonna work. It was like nothing I've ever heard. So I was excited about it, but no way on earth did I think it would be as big as it was, as it is, it is.
So the songs come out.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden you're filming a video.
Yes.
This is one of the most expensive videos at the time. I'm sure there was numbers like $1 million getting thrown out there.
No, so I think the video actually cost 180, maybe 200,000.
It's a lot of money.
It's so much money.
At the time.
It's a whole mortgage.
I remember you guys rehearsing and doing stuff like in Huskies and stuff like that. So who was your stylist? Because at that time you started to become a bit...
Yeah, so
of an icon
21 Seconds, funny enough, is the very first time I put on a dress. I was such a tomboy. I was so tomboy.
That's why we were friends.
That's why I used to... I'm like, heels is like just a now thing, mate. I
And
like
now look.
when I can, I put my flats on, girl. And then trainers are going, oh, my DMs are my favorite best friend.
Shelley's.
I honestly, when I done 21 seconds video, I knew at that point that there needed to be change to stand out, because with Oh No, as much as I was iconically known for this little like angelic voice and it was still all about the boys. And it was only 2 of us on that track, and Mega, 3 of us on that track.
So now you got
So
the whole of Junction on the
now
track.
everyone's there. So how do I stand out?
Yeah.
So I knew it was time for, blonde highlights in my hair. I knew it was time for the dress. So they showed me all these dresses and I was like, like, no, I can't wear them. I can't do it. So I designed my own dress.
No way.
21 seconds dress I designed. And again, it's my creative flair that it was being used as I would normally from photography and creating and painting and artistic sort of stuff. It was then slowly getting bled in and I could express it through my fashion. So I started to create outfits for myself because I didn't like the short, tiny little skirts that they were giving me, and I didn't like the low cut tops, and I had breastfed, for God's sake. So my boobs weren't in the best of condition at the time, So I wanted to wear something I felt confident in. So I started to design, and Wade Adeyemi, remember him? Wale Adeyemi? He helped me a lot with outfits, and so did Karen Binns. And Karen Binns was our stylist. She was from America, crazy blonde woman. She's so beautiful. She really helped me sort of design myself and carve this new person,
image,
an image for my later on success.
So 21 seconds is now out, the video's out, everyone's going crazy. It's on MTV Base, it's on MTV The Box, IDTV, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. We done a premiere in Oxford Circus.
Was it the
cinema.
Sound?
Was it Sound? Maybe, no, I don't know. Somewhere in Leicester Square we was. In Leicester Square. Yeah, we done a premiere for the launch. It was crazy when you think about that. How did we even get to do that? I don't even know. But the ideas flowed. Mega was good at that though. He was he was a good marketing person for us as well. Like he really did have some cool ideas, along with the label and the creatives that were there. He was able to go as far as he could imagine for it to happen,
Yeah. So number 1, everywhere.
Yes.
Classic song.
Yeah.
So Solid started to go through some challenges after that, isn't it?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Luckily for me, and I say luckily for me because it hadn't completely destroyed my career as much as it affected my career. It didn't completely destroy it because I got a record deal very early on, and as much as I just spoke of like 21 seconds being 200,000, mine was to date the most expensive video out of the entire So Solid catalogue. I think peaking at 260, maybe 250,000.
What one was this? Which one?
All Over.
All Over.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah.
Produced by Dreddy.
That's right.
Yes.
And we with that being so incredible and so big for me, I was only maybe 4,000 behind number 1 and sold 90,000 copies in my first week of release. So it done great things for me, and it also took me out of the garage genre into R&B hip hop. So it saved me really being over that side, because as much as So Solid were going down with tarnishing of gun crime and crazy stuff. I was swept away in another genre, in a more commercial field, doing TVs from Jonathan Ross to Jules Holland to whatever, that sort of side of things. So I was saved by that. So it did affect me because I was heartbroken, because as I said, I came into music not really having this goal to be a musician. So the boys were my guidance. They gave me the tools I needed to become. And it, as much as it's just started, it stopped because of everyone in So Solid being banned, the name, the brand being banned from absolutely everywhere. And so I couldn't work with them. They weren't with me anymore. I recruited.
How did that, sorry, just to stop you, how did that affect your relationship with Jason?
Jason had gone to prison by then.
Oh wow.
He was probably part of the reason why So Solid would, heavily tarnished, because obviously he had got himself in trouble and was arrested with a firearm, and went to prison for 4 years, I want to say, alongside Asher. So it, as much it didn't affect me, was already being affected by my success, by his success, by us working ridiculous hours in separate directions. I was very much working on my solo career and had to be very mindful. Well, actually, it wasn't really me, because I would have took them all with me. But my management sort of directed us to split ways.
Yeah.
Don't go everywhere with Jason now. Don't go everywhere with the So Solid boy. Don't mention So Solid. They were being the narrators of my career, and they were narrating, this is the narrative now. You are former So Solid. So it's like,
wow,
really? And that was a struggle for me. That was actually heartbreaking for me. But it was something I got after. But at the time I was like, And then I ended up with the worst tarnished person as a partner, which then again, it was another hammer in my career, like, you want to be with this little rude boy? All right, cool. Stay in your yard. You're not going nowhere, but you want to sell records. No, and you got this crazy guy following you around. So again, it was another nail in my coffin. But again, Trina, I think I've only survived because I'm a hustler, and I will make sure I don't ever, end up and have to stay down. I will work my butt off to protect my name and who I am, and I will maintain who I am no matter what's going on around me. And there was literally a whirlwind going on around me, and I was in the middle, like, don't worry, I'm coming out, climb out of here,
How did this music industry affect your parenting at the time?
Oh my goodness. I regret that the most, because I was being dragged up and down the country, and I just knew that, do I want my daughter to be raised or dragged up? I was absolutely petrified, and I think maybe because I wasn't from a family that did it, which I now think I wish I did, is have an au pair. So that my daughter could be by my side. But it would have meant she would be homeschooled and not in a normal settings. And I thought the best place for her to be was my mum's, and she absolutely hates me for it, Well, not absolutely hates me, but yeah, but she actually felt the neglect of that, because there were times where I wasn't touring anymore, but knew it would be tough to bring her home for a couple of weeks, and then I'm back out again for 6 months, and then I'm off for 2 weeks, and then I'm back out again and it was disruption. And I just, in my head, I kept thinking, it's better for her, it's better for her, it's better for her. And as well, my mum used to say, oh, she's not bothered, when she really was. And had I been told a lot more that she was bothered, I probably would have allowed it to go on so long. But as soon as things calmed enough, I got my daughter back home where she belonged, and took her through secondary school with just me at home. But again, she had to witness a bad relationship. She had to witness me being out and about at nights with gigs and stuff. So yeah, if I could do it again, I would have tried something else, anything else. But it wouldn't be to say that my daughter wouldn't agreed with that. I done my best, and I think that's what I've learned to accept, that I done what I thought was right, and done my best.
You did. And fun fact, Chelsea was actually on the beginning of 21 Seconds.
Yes.
How what you laughing at?
Yeah, she gets a royalty and everything.
Yes, royalties for Chelsea.
Mum got you a royalty for the rest of your life, baby girl, don't worry.
Yeah, so you briefly touched on like some challenging relationships.
Yeah, awful relationship. I stuck in a 13-year-long relationship that just really didn't make sense from the very beginning. It was very violent, very controlling, narcissistic, and but I tell you what, I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all, because if there was one thing he left me with, it was that he gave me the strength to be who I am today, because they were so fearful of this little guy. Yeah, he's little, yeah. They were so fearful of this guy. He was so powerful in his own right that anything I said went, and I did for a while abuse that. I was able to, and not bully and not be, you know, wicked to anyone, but I was able to sort of go out there and say, right, this is how I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get into this place, and I'm going to let that work for that, and then that's how I'm going to set up this, do you know? And I sort of made my plan around, okay, one day I'm going to leave your ass, but I'm going to use it for my benefit as far as I can take it. And that got me into the club industry, being a promoter. That got me certain deals with places that I needed deals with and stuff. So that's the only thing I can take for it from it. Otherwise, it was absolute trauma. Yeah.
So in terms of trauma, look, what sort of things did you experience, and what would you advise women now that are going through similar things?
Yeah.
How would you advise them to get out of that?
I mean, it's one thing I say about relationships is that you can't change anyone. You think you can, and you think you. I think I'm a bit of an empathic, and being an empathic person, I always think that I can heal, and I can change people. You cannot change somebody. You cannot change someone. If they're a cheat, there will always be a cheat, and it's in their DNA. Nobody that truly loves you and wants to make sure they protect you would do anything to change that. And the day you do as a person, or the other person's doing it to you, is the day they've given up on what they once saw as true, you know? So I would advise anybody in a narcissistic or any sort of controlling environment is to just protect yourself and leave. Just protect yourself and leave. There is really no point in pursuing somebody that makes you think twice whether they love you. There is really no point. If you have to question just once, do they actually love me? Why would they do that to me? Like, what was that about? Well, if that confusion is there, honey, it's real. Go follow your intuition and get the hell out. There's no point. I done probably, out of the 5 long-term relationships I've had, I would say 3 of them were narcissistic, heavily hot, narcissistic and violent, and a waste of time, a waste of my life. But again, the only thing, I don't regret any relationship I've had. I have learned so much about myself. A lot of my things that I've put up with over the years have been from my childhood trauma. My childhood trauma, as I said earlier, of feeling not neglect and feeling unwanted, unvalued, unworthy. And from those relationships, I've allowed men to be the way they are. And it is, girls, honestly, and guys, in relationships, it's what you allow. It's not what they're doing to you, it's what you allow. So I would say, and my advice is that you can't change anyone, and you should just move on if you ever have to question love.
Thank you. Do you think that some of these abusive relationships stem from a need?
Yeah.
Because you didn't have your dad in your life at that time, but he's back now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Madly.
How has that impacted you, not having your father around and now regaining him at such a later stage in life?
I've questioned this recently because I have only just got my dad back after 25 years. Was the last time I saw my dad, and I met him again in December of last year. He turned up in a coma. I'll tell you about that later. But I have questioned that recently because I'm only experiencing now, having a dad, what it was that I was actually missing and what it's actually how it's impacted my life. And I can't tell right now. One thing I do know though is that need for a father figure does allow you to maybe be a little bit more dependent on a boyfriend, because I'm so I'm so unaware of what it is like to have a dad, what it is like to have a male opinion, a male testosterone, the strength, the alpha, all of that. I don't know what that's like from childhood and what it is to obey, what it is to submit.
Yeah. To be protected.
Protected, right.
Yes.
That's a big one, massive one. I've ended up in a relationship that I'm also the protector, whether it's financially, through love, through and the abode, whatever part it is, I've ended up being the protector and unknown that what it feels like to have a man do that. So I can only imagine now that I have my dad around, that isn't my protector still. He's not able. I'm looking after him. But him now being around, it's that joke, that banter, that realization that you're very much like this other person. That it's them bits that I'm learning now. But I still don't know what it's like to have a man truly protect you. That sometimes feels like controlling to me. And then they actually show their cards, whether they are controlling or not. The last partner I was with, everyone would say he was such a wonderful man, but he was so insecure and he's really controlling. I don't even know if he realised that he was so controlling. To the point that he was tracking my car and things like that, you know.
Crosses.
Crosses.
Sorry. Crosses.
Just like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's like
Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's not really what I'm used to. I'm used to a man being narcissistic, but then being controlling, but being protective, but it's so confusing to me. And I do wonder whether my whole outlook of relationships, whether I would be able to put up with a narcissistic, insecure, controlling man would be different if I had my father. I don't know, because I haven't experienced it. And that's what I'm trying to unpack now, because I came out of that relationship very quickly, just after a year and a bit. And I've come out of that relationship feeling super strong and super ready for real love and I'm not afraid of it still. It hasn't frightened me, because I know it wasn't protection and I know it wasn't real love. It was full of, from the very beginning, it was full of insecurity. So for me, I've come out the other side thinking it's okay. I just recognized it much quicker. I didn't have to do 13 years like I did with the other one. I done it a lot quicker and got out, you know.
And do you think that's because of things like therapy?
Therapy didn't really work for me, Trina.
It didn't work for you.
I didn't like it.
It worked for me.
Did it? For me, mine's the church. Mine's my church that's worked for me. I didn't really get much from therapy because I felt like they were unpacking. I was unpacking stuff, but maybe I just didn't have the right therapist. But I was unpacking trauma and had no way to dissolve it.
Yeah.
I just was unpacking and I kept unpacking.
And now it's feeling heavy.
And now it's just heavy. And I'm like, okay, so I need a solution-based therapist then. And I tried to go, I changed maybe 4 or 5 therapists in the end. And therapy just kept feeling like the same. I was just unpacking.
And now I've got all of this stuff just here.
It's just all here, all piled up. And I'm like,
what do I do with it?
Okay, but I knew all of this already because it's already in my head. And I'm like, it's all out now.
Yeah.
What do I do with that, you know? And as I was saying with the last relationship, he was like in arguments, he wanted to one talker each time. And I'm like, I'm not your therapist, because that's what it felt like. It felt like therapy where you just sit and just offload and offload and offload. And then you're at the end, you're like, I can't even remember what I said because there was so much. And what do I do with these feelings? And it just leaves a lot of feeling, a lot of like pressure.
It makes you feel low as well.
Yes, low vibration, man. So for me, finding my church and finding the church that I love has helped me more than therapy, because I'm able to give it over to God and read scripture that brings me hope and brings me survival and fight and love, and that it's just like a covenant of love. It's just it's wonderful. I love it.
So you're recently baptized. Well,
again,
somewhat recently. Yeah.
I baptized myself at 11.
At 11, yes.
Yeah, because I came from a non-religious family and we're Italian, Jamaican. I say Italian, we're British. We're British and my father now know is Jamaican. And I grew up very, as I said, culturally black in a white household. And all of my black friends were forced to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, I don't want to go. And I'll be like, I'll come. I used to love it because it wasn't my culture. It wasn't in my house.
In your
happening in
household,
my
yeah.
household. Right. So it was all like fascinating to me. I loved the music. Again, not knowing I'm going to be a musician, but loving the music and the sounds of the church and the singing and praying. And it was all magical to me. So by the time I got to 11, I was following different friends to churches and stuff. And I went to a church and they were having a baptism there. And I said, oh my God, I want to do it. And obviously I was attending that church for probably just under a year. So they knew me. Didn't ask nothing about my mum or anything. They just done it. And I chose my older friends as my godparents.
They're just out here just doing your own thing.
Darren, do you remember Darren from Mackenzie?
Yes,
Darren Mackenzie, Verona Harris.
No way.
They were my godparents. I'm like, yeah, I got godparents. So they was like maybe 17. 17 and wow. But they were older than me, so it was good enough.
Did they take on the responsibilities?
They did. I was their little baby girl.
Yeah.
But now I think about it, I think them two fancied each other.
You reckon?
So it was like mum and dad for the girl. Now I think about it, they was like playing mum and dads, weren't they?
Oh my
But yeah, it
gosh.
was good fun. I loved it. And then you kind of go through life. And as I said, I was 11 when that happened. And between 11 and maybe late 20s, I just kind of had that thing, you know, you think you're following Christ and you think you are Christian and you just do these things. So every time you're in trouble, you say, please, God, help me. But then you forget about saying thanks for all the wonderful things that are happening, because that's life and that's the devil playing you, right? And then my mum got cancer, and my only thought and my only strength was God, and I took myself to multiple churches until I found my church. And it is honestly true, if anybody's thinking about Christianity, is that sometimes, just sometimes, you need the right church to get you going. You fight, it's like a home. It's like a second home. It becomes part of you. And I was living clean in Margate during the pandemic, starting business up there. And I was traveling 77 miles back to my church every Sunday, hanging because I was at work all weekend. Because once you find your home, it takes you on a brand new journey. And I love my church, Citygate Church in Beckenham. I absolutely love it. If anybody wants to come, you are very welcome. I love it there.
So what pushed you to get baptized again now?
I just think it's a journey. Christianity is a journey. It's not
a personal journey.
Yes, it's a personal journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And the time just felt right. I have so much to be thankful for the amount of therapy that I could have done, that my church has given me, that Christ has given me. I honestly would not have made it without God in my life. And I'm so thankful. So the time was right. I didn't think I was worthy for a long time, you know.
Why?
I don't know. I just think, you know, I still make terrible mistakes now when it comes to Christianity. And I just think that's life, isn't it? I think that's just life. And I think I go through different bouts of fighting demons because of the industry that I'm in, fighting demons of the trauma that I've experienced over my life. Some I fought and some not, you know. And I just think it's a whole journey, Trina. And you know when your calling is, you just have to listen. God's talking to you all the time. All the time. And there's just a moment where you just like, it's now, and you know, and you just feel it. I don't know what it is. I can't really explain it. All I can say is God talking to you. Yeah, and you must just listen.
Have to listen.
And I'm okay with that. Anything you say.
I heard you. I heard you. Yeah. We've covered so much.
Yeah.
So, religion, music, challenging.
Yes.
Being a musician.
Yes.
But also being a Christian.
Yeah.
Very challenging.
Yeah.
But you're doing well with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's go a bit into your entrepreneurship.
Okay.
What was the first business that you started, apart from Maffia
House of Mafia.
House of Mafia.
The second business, I want to say. My very first business, Trina, was my booking agency.
Mm-hmm.
It's called UC Bookings.
And you still have that to this
I still
day?
have that to date. It's called UC Bookings because it stands for undercover. Undercover agent. Undercover bookings, because I took a dip in my career and garage had been banned absolutely everywhere. My records, I lost my record deal. I lost my record deal.
How did that feel?
I was actually relieved.
Seriously?
Yeah, because there was time, it was tough for me because I had to learn to be a musician, you know. And So Solid had been banned, so there wasn't as much help there on hand, and I wasn't touring with them, and I wasn't, it was just me on my own. I was all of a sudden back on my own, feeling so lonely and neglected and abandoned, and thinking, I've got to make this £250,000 back for the label. What am I going to do? And single 1, 2, and 3 went well, but album didn't do as well at the beginning. You know, that took some time to get to gold, man. That took some time. But I was doing great things on the scene and making the money, but I wasn't making the label back their money. So it was like, once I lost it, I was like, bah! Because luckily, the hustler kicked in. And the quieter, so the garage scene went, we was on a high, me and Romeo, with our solo albums. We'd had all this, like, we'd done all these different TVs, magazines and photo shoots and got paid from all different angles, from publishing and all the rest of it, sold these albums, sold these records. And it just came to a halt all of a sudden. And it just sort of, because the next people start coming in, don't they?
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to make more music because I didn't like it. I didn't like it because it was really tough. I had a child that I wanted to be with, and there was really turbulent relationship, you know, the long-term one. And just all of it going so left. And the trauma of my relationship was sort of dictating what I felt about myself.
Yeah.
With being cheated on and him having a child with someone else. There was lots of different really bad, shitty things that were just piling up on me. And I was a teenage mum, and I had that child, and I had violence, and I had, you know, there was all these things just stacking, and this abandonment or feeling not wanted in my mum. All these things were just clocking up. By the time I got to my record deal, where it was supposed to be the happy haven, it was the most diabolical feeling ever, because I just wanted out. I just thought, in fact, I just want to die. I just want to close all this. I want nothing more. I don't want it. I want it to stop. I want everything to just stop. My suicidal feelings then were just awful back then. I went through that regularly, depression, and feeling suicidal, you know? So I don't know. I think, like, coming out of the deal, it's like, hallelujah.
You felt like you could finally breathe. Yeah.
And I did begin to breathe, and I did begin to relax, and I still had money in my bank, but my music career was slowing down. So I decided to open the booking agency, and I started to phone every single club that I had been performed at, every single promoter I could think of. And I used to pretend my name was Selena. And I...
Hey, Selena girl.
Hey, girl. And I used to just phone up and I'd be like, hi, my name's Selena. Would you like to book? I used to put a really Cockney accent on. It was so funny. It was like my sister's accent, like, all right, hiya. I'm Selena, and I have Lisa Maffia on my books. And if you want to book her, just let us know, because we are putting her out for the rest of the year. So let us know we can work out a price. Just let me know what you need. And then, yeah, so I'll send you over a portfolio. And it used to be this, like, really tacky pictures. Now I look back, I'm like, oh my days, really? But it was the 90s style men's magazine pictures where you like breasts and bumper and look. I was so Margot, like a stick. And I used to send out these pictures, a profile with a bio and some tracks, and everyone obviously knew the tracks, but I used to send out like MySpace. Remember MySpace?
Yes.
Oh my God, girls. Yeah, I'd send out my MySpace, and I send it to hundreds upon hundreds of different people and clubs all over the country. And I finally started getting calls back.
Wow.
And it started getting me out there. And I went from like maybe being paid £5,000 to £10,000 a show for 15 minutes on stage to getting paid about £2,000 a show. So it was a massive drop for me. And then it started getting worse, like even more so the older my records were getting, the more they didn't want anything to do with So Solid, the more they didn't recognize that there was any growth in So Solid coming back or anything like that. Just all started to dilute my career, and I just had to start going out, just go out for whatever I could get, you know. And I think the lowest I got was £700 a show. And they said, you just 10 minutes, do a couple of tracks and get out. £700 is still a lot of money.
Still, yeah.
But it was a massive job from what I was used
commanding
to
before, yeah.
And I thought, yeah, this is working. It's actually working. Like, and then Romeo's gigs started going a bit slower, and then certain gigs, me and Romeo were on a lot of the same shows. So, for instance, in Mallorca, we used to do a place called Magaluf, and we used to do this club, and he would go one Saturday, and then I would go bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And when I got there one month, I said to them, because it's coming to the end of the season, what's happening for next year? And they were like, oh, I don't think we'll be able to book you for next year because we don't have the money. Obviously, they're saying, we'll have you, but we can't
not
pay
at that rate. Yeah.
Because they were still booking through our actual agent.
Right.
So they said to me, if you will come direct, then that would cut the agency fees. Now, we were getting £1,000 each out of that show. They told me they were getting £2,800 for that show. So this agent was taking £1,800.
Yeah.
So I just looked at them like, liberty. So I said, all right, cool. Me and Romeo will do it together for £4,000. It worked.
Amen.
But I didn't do the wrong, and I did go back to that agent and say, look, they want to cut you out. I am willing to give you off the first 5 shows this much money. And they were cool with it. And I said, and I'm going to just be cool that you've been stinging us for £1,800 for the last 10 years. But it's cool, innit? I'm not the snake you is, right? So you're now gone. I can be my own agent. Thank you and goodbye. Yeah. So that was my very first company, UC Bookings, and it's still going now. And as well, as it grew, I realized, I can do this for my whole industry. So I started to book for other people, and one of my very first and most proud is Chip, because I got him his I don't know if it was his very first show, but it was his very first club show, and that was at a place called Demand in Coventry. And I was so proud of that, because it was like he was really on his come up and big, and not my genre.
Yeah.
And that's how that started. And I started booking for other people. I've also booked for a lot of people in the industry and kept very quiet about it, because a lot of industry people don't really trust other industry people with their prices, and that sort of ego that they don't want no one else to know. But you don't know, I can just pretend to be someone and get your price, you idiot. Which I've done many a times and booked them. So yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that company.
So that's your first kind of big company.
Yeah.
But you do much more, don't you, Lisa?
I do indeed.
You do a bit of interior design.
I do indeed.
A little bit of staging.
I do indeed. So that's House of Maffia, funny enough. House of Maffia was once the clothing brand. My mum obviously got cancer, diagnosed with cancer, and it had this strange attachment to my mum getting cancer. So I was, and I wanted to, when my mum got better the first time after nearly 2 years, I wanted to get back into it, and I just couldn't bear to open it, because I kept thinking, what if it opens and then my mum gets cancer again? It brings back, I don't know, it just had this weird attachment. But the name was so powerful. And then 5 years after that, 7 years in total after my mum's first diagnosis, I opened it as an interior staging company. And fortunately for me, by then, I had met quite a few property developers, and they were just well connected. And one of my friends said to me, you like doing houses? I like your house. Do you want to do one of my houses? I was like, yeah, all right then. Did it. And then that led to someone else going, I really like that house there. Who did this for you? Oh, Lisa did it. Do you think she'll do mine? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then I met up with somebody from a Barratt Homes project and got that project. And it's just spiraled like that. time and time again, it's been through word of mouth. Most recent, last year, I done a collection of 10 properties in Croydon, actually, for a friend of mine that I know through the industry. Yeah.
And I don't know if I go far back enough, but you had some headphones, didn't you?
I did, bass buds. That was with my ex, actually. Yes, I did. And a company that was established in a very, weird way. But anywho, I was very much part of that, let that go as soon as I wanted out of the relationship. I kind of just let that go with it. See you later.
Let go.
Mafia.
You're into property. When did you get your first house?
My very first property I got when I was 22 with Jason in Forest Hill. I wish I kept that property. That is one property I wish I never
remember
sold
it. It's kind of Pendish.
It was so beautiful. It was a 1930s 3-bedroom end of terrace house. Absolutely stunning when I think about it. It had all the original stained glass and all sorts. Absolutely huge garden that my mum dug out on her own, you know, absolute G. And yeah, we broke up. Obviously, he went to prison, and I got with someone else, and I just felt really guilty about having that property. But in the space of 3 years, I'd made £66,000 on that. Well, no, I made 66. We made £130,000. Yeah, I gave him 66. Yeah, yeah.
I remember you bringing me to one of your places. I won't say exactly where.
Is it Langley?
Langley.
Yeah,
oh
it was
my
beautiful
God.
there, wasn't it?
I remember you bringing me to Langley Park, and
that was my third property, I think. I absolutely loved it on there. That was it had geese, Lisa.
You know what? It had geese
do you
in
know
the
what
lake.
I think that property was? That was like a pop star's house.
Honestly,
wasn't it? That was a pop star's house. Yeah, I loved it.
And I think that's what made me think I need to get property. I remember coming there thinking, no, I need to go. I need to find money to get a house. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I need to get a property. Because you literally opened my eyes up to, there's more than Loughborough Junction. Like after I came down, like, how am I going back to Loughborough? How? I remember showing Judge the prospectus after I started showing. I was like, Judge, look at this house. I need to get out.
Honestly, property was only. I only started in property. I think I was probably the second person in my entire family to own a house. And that only came about because of Jason, I think. Because had he not got me on the first ladder, I wouldn't have been able to get on the rest. And as you know, once you get on or off the ladder, it's hard to get on or off. You know. So I give thanks to him for that, for sure.
Shout out, Jason.
I want to do more. We should do something.
We're planning.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Property stint for us.
Yes. Shout out all the property people that we know in and around.
Get in touch.
Yes, let's make it happen. Kazzy, hurry up and come on my show. Anyway, we part that. All right, cool. Other businesses that you've run. More recently, you've launched Mafia Rum.
I have.
How did you get into, how do you go from property to a rum, Lisa? What was that?
I've tried my best, and I think this is key to good business, is having an entrepreneurial life and career path, is to try and stay within your own realms, no matter what the business is. Rum came about. I've been in the clubs doing performances for 23 years. I have not stopped. And if anyone don't believe me, check the records. It's on Google. It goes back to 2001, 2, 3, maybe 2. I've been in those clubs. I'm not a massive drinker. I do drink, but I'm not a huge drinker. I'm one to have a tipple. I get drunk very easily, very quick.
Ain't a
Takes me 3 drinks max and I'm gone. And I don't like to be out of control. So I've always been very mindful of how much I'm drinking and never really liked the drinks that I'm drinking. So it takes me time to drink that. So I wanted to create something that I liked. And it was maybe just over 5 years ago that I was asked if I wanted to make my own drink. And I was like, not really. I don't really drink. But then I was like, actually, if I could drink something I really like, then maybe I would enjoy having a glass of drink. And being culturally Black and from Brixton, and rum being the chosen drink for
Rum punch.
Yeah, rum punch, exactly. It's just, it's there. It was always in the back of my mind. I was going to do tequila because it was the trend. And then I felt like had no attachment to tequila. It didn't resonate with me. So I chose rum. And then I have this thing that no one in my family has done, apart from my uncle, JSM. He owns John's School of Motoring. It's in North London, actually. It's up this way. He owns a driving school, and he's the only person that's used M in the name, in his branding name as his legacy, but not the actual name Maffia.
Right.
That is my real name. And even it shocks me every day. So why wouldn't I try and keep that legacy alive, you know, and have that name, do something and make money and provide jobs and all these different things that I plan to do with the name Maffia. And that's why I chose the name Mafia Rum. And also that it's like, I'm Italian and Jamaican. And how do I fuse the two? Mafia is the one name that really represents being Italian.
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. The actual drink, the taste, the flavors, everything about it is the fusion between Italy and Jamaica. And I love it for that.
It's got vanilla undertones.
It has got vanilla and orange in it. It's absolutely it's so tasty that I only drink it straight. And if I want to mix it, I only do it with ginger beer just because. Gives it that kick.
And you had a launch recently in our hometown. In our hometown.
I did. It was my small Brixton launch.
Yeah.
It hasn't been. I
Soft
haven't done
launch.
an official big launch yet. And I plan to when it's probably it's a whole year from the day it started selling, not the day I started promoting. And that's coming up. That will be next year. But yeah, I had to come back to Brixton. I had to do it in Brixton. It made no sense to do it anywhere else. And it was just so nice. I cried my eyes out probably 3 or 4 times when I kept seeing faces like Roslyn, Sam's mum.
Yeah.
I cried my eyes out when I saw her. I could not believe she was there. She brought back so many memories. Because she was my mum from Angeltown in that sense, you know. And it was just so beautiful to see her. And you was there. Everyone was there that I really felt like it needed to be that sort of launch. I didn't need it to be a celebrity launch for the first launch. I wanted it to be homely.
Was, though,
it was like
everybody
I wanted it to be
was
homely.
there. Like everyone was there. Romeo was there.
To be like
Dan the
but
man.
they're like my brothers.
Maxwell D was there.
Yeah, but it was like brothers.
It was beautiful.
Mighty Mo even popped up. That made me cry my eyes out.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah. And it felt so homely.
It did, but that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be announced to my own first and say, thank you for raising me. Brixton, thank you for raising me. Thank you for making me the woman I am, because it's brought me to this. Even this, you know, is part of my culture, part of my upbringing.
And it was so nice to see Mummy outside. Yeah.
She was out there,
I love
girl.
her.
Giving her little hips. Yeah, she was ready.
What sort of advice would you give to artists that are considering becoming entrepreneurs, that are trying to make a transition from maybe music to...
Oh my goodness, listen, eat it up. As a musician, we are so very fortunate because we have access to so many things. I have done so many things with my career, with who I once was and who I am now. I've managed to maintain a career from records that I've made so many years ago, and that's because being a musician, if you're smart, you can eat it up. Don't forget to be humbled by it all. And don't forget to embrace and be thankful. And also don't forget to give back some in whatever capacity that is. Whether it be by giving jobs to people and having your own work within your own. Whether it's giving advice or helping out in a charitable way. Whether that means... there's so many ways you can do it. It's like I'm overwhelmed with how many ways you can do it. But just make sure you're giving back just a little, because it's that's going to help you to grow. It doesn't start with you just taking all and getting every bit of profit for yourself. it's about trying to include everyone, and you'll grow a lot bigger and a lot better and a lot faster. Yeah, share the wealth. Share the wealth.
And like, probably one of my last questions, what do you think has led you to have such a long and illustrious career?
Just being a hustler, Trina. I don't think it's anything more than being a hustler. Every time I've seen something change, I've had to do something about it. What else could it be? I just think it's thankfulness, you know. Thankfulness, God giving me guidance. That's it. I can't say it's anything else. It's just being humbled by every experience and being humbled by and thankful for every experience. I now write down every small, for like this, for instance, this day will be on my notes for the October month that I actually participated on, honestly, Trina, because I have to give thanks that you've given me a platform to share my story, to laugh with you, to hopefully make other people at home feel stronger. And you have to be thankful for those things, and you have to remember those things. That's what's helped me to rise up again after a fall, because sometimes you'll get to a really bad day and think, oh my God, my life is awful. My life is so bad. And those notes in your phone or wherever in that little book from all those times that made you smile and made you feel good at that point, those are the things that are going to keep you going and uplift you. Those are the things that are going to encourage you to keep going. Those prayers that you shared, those moments that you shared and made someone else feel great are the sometimes you forget how much you made someone else feel better. I will write that down. Like, oh, I made Trina feel really much better about that. And she smiled.
You did.
Yeah,
You did.
it's that.
You did.
But
You
it's that.
did.
And then I have to remember, so if I can make someone else feel better, then I can make me feel better too. And it's those things that will keep you going more than what any money would ever give. Money won't give you nothing. It'll just give you more problems, as they say.
100%.
And it's the things that you are humbled by and thankful for that will keep you going for forever.
Absolutely. I was going to bring it to an end, but I just want to quickly touch on social media.
Yes.
You've become quite active on social media.
Girl,
your
it is
TikTok,
a hard job.
Your social media.
That's a whole new career in
and
itself.
Currently, you're on this dating by yourself.
Yes.
What is this about, Lisa?
Do you know what, right? Social media has always been challenging for me. I am 45 and proud, and I've had to again learn the trade of social media. It is a whole trade, and it doesn't come naturally for me. Talking to camera sometimes is the cringiest thing ever. I'm like, ooh.
You do it well though, because when we was in Dubai,
Girl,
you were just setting up angles.
You gotta just do it. You gotta do it, girl. You gotta train yourself.
Girl.
It's a free marketing tool. Let's not forget that. Let you control it. Don't let it control you. That is my biggest quote of social media. Do not let that control you. Make sure you control it. It is there for your use, for what you deter what you want to use it for. Do not let that thing control you, because it will take over your life and screw you up and throw you away. So don't let that social media control you. I've had to learn a lot about it. And then I've got from Instagram being just about pictures. Great. I love photography. Honey, I got a diploma in photography, girl.
You took pictures of me. One of my first photo shoots for the Observer. You can go and find it on Google. Lisa took pictures of me for the Observer, and it was such
interview. Yeah.
Honestly,
the big old paper on the trains that they have.
Big paper, and my little story.
Yeah, it was
there
wonderful.
And stuff. It was really good,
and that's natural to me. So Instagram was a breeze until they started bringing in reels and stories. And what do you mean? I have to what? Do what? This is about pictures. I like pictures. I can edit it good. I can do pictures. Now you're telling me to do reels and stories and highlights and all these other things. And then TikTok's come along and it started to take over, hasn't it? And it is an incredible platform, a tool for marketing. It is. but you do need to be on it enough. It's more than Instagram. You need to be so committed to it to get your followers up, to get the likes up, to get the, each post that goes out. And it's not for the likes and it's not for the followers that I'm doing it. It's now that I can sell something on there. I can use that as my advertising board. So I'm newly single. Well, I say newly, it's clocking on 7 months maybe, I think.
Good.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm happy for you. Really happy for you.
Police.
Yes. Out of it.
Looking for love.
Yeah.
So I literally do not like to do things on social media that feels forced. I want to feel comfortable in everything I do, and I'm natural. I don't want to be dictated to and told, okay, well, you've got to have your lips done, bum done, to look the part. I'm gonna do me. So sometimes I go on there so disheveled because my best time and my only time is in the morning. So I'm sorry, TikTok fans, followers, sorry, supporters. I be going on there looking a whole mess, but it's my favorite time because I get to be me, and I'm so well seasoned in this industry that I know, don't take anything or what anyone says as to heart. It doesn't make no difference to your life. It doesn't make any impact on my life what people may say behind my back or to me. So I know how to take bluntly the piss out of myself.
Yeah.
And I can take fun of myself because I enjoy being me. I am full of banter, I'm full of banter
100%.
all the time. No situation is ever serious. I'm a Gemini, so obviously I'm just a clown when I'm ready.
Yes.
And I enjoy it, and it makes me feel free, and that's my key to happiness. So I'm now on there just talking through it's the only thing I can think to do because it's the only thing that's real to me.
You. Yeah.
And I'm happily single, and I'm on my hunt for my husband. I've got no more time to waste. I'm not interested in no more fools with your insecurities and your narcissistic traits and anyone's insecure son. I don't want them. I don't want you. You're fine over there. So I'm looking, and I'm such a easygoing person, and I hope through my posts on there I do find that husband that just relates to me because I'm so free. I'm like a bird and I'm so free, and I just like to just fly around, tot around, being free and happy. And I'm now sharing my story through TikTok.
Yes.
So.
She likes to do hikes. She likes painting.
Yes.
She likes honest individuals.
She's telling me good here. Keep going, girl.
Yes. She's a good catch. Yeah. She's an entrepreneur. She has multiple businesses, and she likes to travel. She can cook also.
Awesome.
So if you're interested in my amazing friend, British icon, get in touch.
Get in touch.
Get in touch to
Get
me.
in touch.
And I
honestly,
will
Trina,
vet.
she will vet.
I will vet.
I'm obviously no good at this shit, so you might as well go take it over. Please control my life.
I will vet you. And while I'm vetting, if there's any that's interested as well, I'm just letting you know.
Babe, so we're going to be doing a podcast about dating next.
Dating in our 40s.
This is obviously a thing.
Anyway, let's wrap up.
Yeah.
So what is on the cards for your future now? What are the next
goodness.
steps for Lisa?
I never know. And I never like to dictate. I let God control my path. I let God direct me. Anything that I'm unsure about, I just pray hard on it. And it may take days, it may take an hour, it may take minutes, but I allow God to make me feel that feeling within me. And if it feels right, then I go with it. So I don't worry about tomorrow. I let tomorrow worry about itself. And but I do know, one thing I do know, I see a huge happy smile on my face. Amen. And I see I feel fulfillment. I feel it now. I feel fulfilled now because I feel like I've been able to do a lot of things that I wasn't able once to do. Be confident in myself, trust my own intuition, make my own decisions, and just be brave and bold. And I wasn't able to do that all my life. And I've only just started to really, truly embrace that side of me. And it makes me feel fulfilled. So I just see a really beautiful future ahead, a really, really trusted in God future for me.
Amen.
I'm excited.
And you're amazing grandma as well.
I
Just
am
want
a
to throw that
grandma.
out there.
Wonderful grandma. My grandson is another part of me that's fulfilled me. Truly, truly fulfilled me. So, yeah, I give thanks.
Lisa,
Yeah.
it's absolute pleasure to have you today.
Thank you.
Are there any questions that you want to ask?
We'll ask you.
Yeah.
OMG, girl. Okay, you ready for
Honestly
this? How long we
speaking.
got? What do you see for your future? Because I've watched you grow from a child, obviously, but I've also watched you grow as honestly Trina. From Caramel. No, not Caramel.
From Kitty.
Kitty. From
Shout out
Kitty.
Caramel.
Shout
Yeah.
out Caramel. From Kitty.
Yeah.
As the rapper, as a wonderful musician. I've watched you grow from there to here. And I remember sitting down and talking to you about starting this, and you have just like a rocket, and I'm so super proud. But it does make me wonder, what's next?
What is next? So I don't know how much I can share.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you actually.
Yeah.
Because actually you re-entered my life at such a traumatic time, and a time that I couldn't actually trust people. You know what time I'm talking about? And you were literally my safe space.
Don't make me cry.
I'm gonna cry as well.
Shush.
Why am I doing this to myself?
I don't know
I'm
why
gonna
you're
edit
doing
this
it.
out, man. I'm gonna edit this out. But literally, you came back into my life at a time when it was very chaotic, and I couldn't trust anyone. But I think because of your career, I knew that I could share with you.
It's hard. It's, you know why? Do you know why it made me emotional? Because I don't really have that many friends that will celebrate me in that way. You know, I have some really good friends, but I think Kelly probably is the only other one that celebrate. I know actually a few of my girls do, but
the Golden
openly,
Girls, babes. The Golden Girls.
Yeah, I mean, just openly celebrating me daily, and it's been you. And to say thanks on your show, on my interview, it just touched me. Sorry.
So no, I am really grateful for you, and I think I was quite manic when I was talking to you. I was just like constantly just offloading and offloading.
It's okay, breathe.
And I felt no judgment,
Yeah.
and you were patient with me, and you allowed me the safe space to divulge aspects of my life that were chaotic at the time.
Yeah.
And once we got through that chaos, I remember saying to you, this is what I want to do. I want to start this talk show. I want to do Honestly Speaking. And you were like, babe, you can do it. You're going to be the next Oprah. Like, you started speaking all this stuff into my life. And then other people started to echo it, even outside of not knowing that you had said that. Shout out Young Ricks. Like, yeah, you're Oprah and you can do this and you can do that. And I just remember you actively speaking life into me. And I would say, I want to do this. And you're like, you're online and you're just finding stuff and you're just, and I felt slightly overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this now. Like, I've actually got to do this show.
I can't not do it now.
I can't not do it because now someone else knows and now they're pushing me. And so I was so grateful for you. And there was not many people that like believed in the vision. There was you, there was Jad, shout out Jad Our Souls. That actually believed in me saying, I want to do this thing. So thank you for that.
You are so welcome.
And just even some of the connections and stuff. But in terms of the future, I want to finish season 2. And I want to go on to season 3.
Yes.
And I have big ideas. I'm going to say it now, so in case you lot try to steal my ideas, you know it was me first. So I want to go live. So I want to do Honestly Speaking with a live audience.
Yeah.
Elmo and Jay. No pressure.
She's already booked you.
Yeah, I want to go live. I want to have people calling in and doing live talks with us as well. So
you should not tell them at home.
No, letting them know so they can say it was here first.
True that.
So Elmo and Jay can find a way to make it happen.
A live mic in the room. Do you remember they used to do that on TV? That's sick idea.
So I
love that.
I want to do all of that, and I actually want to start getting into my TED Talk space.
Amazing.
So professionally,
I've done that, and it's wonderful. Again, that's something I always believe is part of giving back.
Yes,
is offloading your experience. You won't learn things from just a book. You need real life experiences. And TED Talks, I used to watch them over and over again, and I started doing live seminars and stuff. So it's good. It's good for you as well.
So in my day-to-day job, my 9 to 5 that I don't talk about, I do facilitated conversations across very important areas of life. Yes. So I want to get into that much more. But yeah, thank you for that question. And then lastly, we've got a question from our previous guest for you.
Oh yeah?
Hi, my name's Kevin Bennett. I am the author of the book, Who Helps the Helpline When the Helpline Needs Help. I have a question for you. What do you want your legacy to be 50 years from now? What do you want your legacy to be 50 years from now? In addition to that question, are you living your legacy today? Good luck with the answer.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Lisa Maffia, the very first lady of So Solid Crew. And Kevin, thanks for your question. I would say, am I living my legacy? Yes, I am building it daily. I believe that building it daily is part of my lifestyle. It's really important for me because there isn't as many mafias here in the UK. And my legendary name is real. And I want to make sure I am feeding into that every day. So yes, I'm 100% living my legacy every single day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
I am so grateful for you, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time that you've given me today. And thank you for being an inspirational pioneer for women particularly, but other people, obviously other genders as well, but for women in this hard industry and actually for surviving and thriving for so long.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That has been Honestly Speaking. I have been your host, Honestly Trina, and thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Lisa, where can we find you?
At Lisa Maffia on at Lisa Maffia UK on most platforms. If not, it's just at Lisa Maffia.
Thank you. And you can find me, Honestly Trina, on every platform, Instagram, X, TikTok, and I even have a LinkedIn. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to Honestly Speaking. It's been amazing. Much love as always.
Oi, oi.
That's what happens when you get real professionals. Do you know what I mean?
Real professional, sorry.
No, not you. Not. I mean about me. That's about me. No, that's about me.
Are we on RTM right now? Because it's going down in here.
It's feeling.
Yeah.
We're on the wrong set, guys. This is the Honestly Trina Speaking set, please.
We're being honest, Trina. We're just being honest.
No, it's me. Like, I'm not the professional like that. So I didn't think about turning the light down. That's what I meant. I wasn't throwing shade at my guys.